Before we start here today, we're gonna ask our dancers to come forward and bless this area with their dance and their song. So we're gonna start that now. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Guy Capoeman. I'm the president of the Quinault Indian Nation. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to be here to acknowledge this beautiful work that is presented to all of you. I'd like to acknowledge some of our elected officials that are in the crowd. Ben Winkleman, Mayor of Hoquiam. Ben, where you at, Ben? Want to raise your hand? Very good. Senator Jeff Wilson. Jeff, good to see you here. Representative Mike Chapman. Mike, good to see you, Mike. Representative Joel McIntyre. Joel, good to see you, Joel. Representative Jim Walsh. Good to see you, Jim. Members of the Aberdeen City Council. Good to see you all here. Members of the Hoquiam City Council. Members of the Quinault Nation Business Committee. Members of the Quinault Nation Enterprise Board. Good to see you all here today. You know, I've asked myself over the last 24 hours, you know, what are the key things for us to take home from this day? And I've thought like this. How many of us in this crowd have somebody that is affected by addiction? How many of us here? I raise my hand. You know, this addiction that is out there in this world is real. It's real, and it's affecting our communities. Everywhere we go, we see it. Everywhere we go, we drive down these streets, or the streets in any city in this state and elsewhere around the world, and you see these things that are impacting our people. And I've always believed that the most important thing when it comes to government is the people, because without the people, what do we have? You know, how do we address things? How do we have our voices heard? It's almost impossible to do that unless we hear from you, unless we hear from all of you. And the word that we've heard is that something needs to be done. Change needs to happen now. And that's why the board and our CEO, Chrissy Wynn, and the vision that they had to bring this forth is something that I believe will impact families, will impact our communities for generations to come. And that, my friends, is what it's all about. Is that right? I believe it is. I believe it is. You know, the wonderful work of all of the staff. And, you know, there's a long list of names that I'd like to call out. Even though I believe they don't want that kind of recognition. We know the work that you've done, and we respect it. We understand it, and we know that for us to be successful, the key word in that is us. If our neighbors are successful in whatever they do, then that rolls on down to the Quinault Indian Nation. We're successful. If we're successful with something we're working on, then you're successful as well. We all own a place in this area we call Grays Harbor. My grandmother, she was born at the mouth of Chinoose Creek. And I'm sure all of you got a similar story here. So we all own a place here. We all have family that needs help. They need a place to go where they can come in and get that all around from head to toe help. Because you know, as well as I do, if you feel good about yourself and what you're doing, then that's going to reflect in your life. That's going to reflect in your family. That's going to reflect in your village. It's going to reflect in everything that you do. And this place is a place where that all is going to start, where we're going to make that positive change. So I firmly believe that, I firmly believe in the leadership of the Enterprise Board, in the leadership of the Tribal Council, and the vision that they had. And, you know, when we all went in and we met with the Aberdeen City Council, and all of those words that were expressed and shared back and forth on both sides, we need to keep that going. And we need to make this a success. Because if it's a success, all of us are. So with that, I want to say Siokwe to all of you for being here today. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call up Representative Kilmer to come up, share a few words.
Thanks so much. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. And let me just start by thanking President Capoeman. Can we give the President and the Tribal Council a round of applause for their leadership? I also want to, I appreciated that he acknowledged some of the state and municipal leaders here. I want to make sure to shout out Steve Theringer, who's been bringing home the bacon as the chair of the Capital Budget Committee. Good to see you, Steve. I also see Mayor Polly here and a couple port commissioners and hospital commissioner Sonata. Thank you all for your leadership. Listen, today is a day about investing in wellness. It's a day about combating addiction. And it's a day about making sure that our tomorrows are better than our todays and our yesterdays. That's what this is about. When I was thinking about this event and the investment that's been made here, the thing that came to mind was actually the only thing I remember from my college anthropology class. They asked Margaret Mead, when you're studying an ancient civilization, how do you know you've come across a civilized society rather than just random wanderers? Is it a tool or an instrument or an article of clothing? And her answer I thought was actually very interesting. She said, you know you found a civilized society when you find a healed femur, a healed thigh bone. And as she explained it, in ancient times, if you broke your femur, you were pretty well cooked. You couldn't hunt or gather or flee from danger. But most importantly, you couldn't fix it on your own. You had to have people care about you and help you heal. And that, in her view, was a sign of a civilized society. And when I think about an investment like this, a facility like this, it's a testament to that notion that we're not just going to leave people behind. That part of what makes us civilized is that we're going to care about each other and help us heal. You know, obviously, we are in a time where there's a lot of broken femurs in our society. And investments like this are an investment in saying that we're going to take care of each other, that we're going to strengthen our community. And I think that's really important. It's a testament to the Quinault Indian Nation. It's a testament to their enterprises. It's a testament to the men and women who designed this extraordinary facility, who constructed this extraordinary facility, to all of the health providers who will provide care in this extraordinary facility, and all who provide care out in our community throughout this county. It's a testament to that ethic. There's an old saying that change is inevitable, but progress is optional. And I actually think in a facility like this, the care that will be provided here represents progress. We know that we have seen addiction ravage far too many communities. We know that we've seen an increase in hospitalizations as a result of overdose in the last decade to the tune of a 300% increase. And so this facility, the care that will be provided here, represents progress. So I want to thank you all for showing up. And again, I want to thank President Capoeman for having me. And with that, it's my honor to introduce the Mayor of Aberdeen, Pete Schave.
Well, I'm well known for not making speeches, so I'm going to keep it short. We have a lot of distinguished speakers today, so. But here's the thing. There was a lot of work, a lot of time spent getting to this point where we're at today. And how wonderful it is. A lot of money spent in this community to get here, but that's not what the important thing is. The important thing is where we're going to go now. The building's ready to go. It's a beautiful building. And where are we going to go with it now? We see we've got homeless people making camps and trying to survive, and their problems are vast. There's all kinds of problems, but now we have a place that can reach out to them right here locally and try to solve some of them problems. So with that said, I'd like to thank the nation for investing in our community, building this beautiful building. In fact, repurposing an older empty building, and now you'd never know it because it looks so new and fresh. But just becoming a visible part of our community, it's just wonderful. So we appreciate everything that's been done here, and thank you everyone for coming.
We're going to have transportation that will drop off our clients. That's a huge barrier in chemical dependency. Trying to get transportation to their appointments. Children will be allowed on the buses with their parents to come. We will provide child care. They'll get dropped off here, and then they'll be greeted by security, and security will guide them to the designated areas that they need to go to. Our first stop they do have is this is Kim's favorite. We have our social worker right at the front door. It will help with housing needs. We'll have clients with legal obligations that will come in that haven't taken care of them for months, years, so they can elevate our social worker, whether they need clothes, food vouchers, stuff like that. And that's with the social worker and the peer support counselors.
I am the office manager here, and I will be overseeing our administrative assistants. We'll have 2 here at the front desk as the patients come in. Ensure that they get all their appointments they need, all their contact information, any forms that we have to process with them, and insurances. And we'll also have a lot of different resources for these patients to receive. And we'll also have a medical and dental center over here. And also I'll be overseeing our child watch, child care, and transportation. So everything that we have here is to help and facilitate the patients to receive the care. So thank you all for coming.
If you want to access services here, dental, medical, any of the other services, transportation, child watch, you have to have a substance use disorder. So the person will come in, meet with a counselor, have an assessment to determine that. So this is called a dosing room. This is where the client's number would come up. They're all in the system. They've been coming here. They've been assessed. They have a treatment plan. They're going to take medication. They meet with the nurse right there, verify their name, their dose, sign for it, take it in front. People that come here Monday through Saturday, we're open 6 to 2:30. Every single day, they get their medication. When Saturday comes, they are trained on how to have a lockbox to keep their medication safe. If they meet eligibility, they can take a medication home for Sunday. If you have a family member, if you know anyone who's struggling with this and has a lockbox and is in the program, make sure you're helping support them. Keep that lockbox safe. Get that away from kids. Make sure they're taking their medication, not in front of anyone. This is a safety issue. We do not want children getting a hold of this, or animals for that matter. But so that's the medication part.
One of the important things about this program is we're working on a Hep C eradication program. So people can come in and get treatment for Hep C and get cured. All right, come on.
What was your position again?
I am the nurse care manager for this clinic. Come on through, guys. One of the nice things about this clinic is that giant bariatric chair. It's built for very big people. Well, we have them in every single room. So people who are bigger will feel comfortable. One of the premises of addiction is when you quit, you sometimes gain weight. It's gonna make it easier because when I need to weigh you, that chair weighs you and sends it right to that computer. I have one of these chairs in every single one of these rooms.
If you want, but the waiting room to the right is for patients who are waiting for group counseling or individual counseling. So some of the requirements for coming in and working with their counselor on a treatment plan will include for sure individual counseling, but most people start out with group counseling. Group counseling could include different educational requirements by the criteria of the program. We've also found that we incorporate, we're going to do a lot of cultural programming, so some of that might be beading, drum making, talking circle, different things that we have learned in working with Native communities for about 20 years, that it's really important. And for the Native and non-Native, the non-Natives are like they're like, oh wow, well, this works for us too, and it's just been a really culture-inspiring situation that we've come across in our experience. Groups are 1 hour, so the week before the schedule will come out, the counselor will give the schedule to their patient, and the patient gets to choose. The counselor will say, okay, you meet criteria and you have to do 3 hours a week, so pick 3, or 6 hours a week, pick 6, and they get to pick. So if they have a job, they can pick around it. If they just happen to like something, we just want people to come. Pre-COVID, we do 16 people in a group. Right now, kind of 6 to 8. So the counselor will bring them all into group or bring them from the waiting area into their individual counseling session. What's specific to that individual. So the nice thing about this program is we can make it specific. We don't have a cookie cutter approach to do the program. What works for you may not work for you. We also will be offering at some point, sooner than later, hopefully, a group called Family Group. So if you know someone who's struggling with addiction, if you just like you're a parent or a relative or a friend and you go, oh my gosh, I just don't know what to do with this person, come to that support group. And you don't have to have someone in the program. That's the only thing you can access without having someone in the program. All right, Dr. Homer is our dentist here, and he's going to give his little spiel.
Okay. Hey, really glad to be a part of this community. I know when I came for my interview and looked at the equipment that they had put in, I could tell that they were had made a tremendous commitment, because it is first class here in this facility, so I'm anxious to be here. I bring a skill set of about 38 years in private practice. I practiced in North Central Washington and Okanagan, so I had referrals that could go to 95 miles to Wenatchee or 150 miles to Spokane. So through the years, I tended to do more and more services to minimize the travel that people had to do. So kind of anxious to bring that to this facility to try to keep as much in-house as we possibly can. And the more we can do for somebody today, as opposed to we can send you there next week or a month from now, then we're going to be able to accomplish a tremendous amount more. And it also makes it a good synergism with the other parts of the clinic, because we're kind of under one roof being able to provide a lot of things. So we also have some other really good equipment that told me a lot about the commitment that the enterprise board had made to this facility with our x-ray equipment. It's three-dimensional. Gives us a much better opportunity to really fine-tune and rather than guessing at what the x-ray is trying to tell us, really see things. Our sterilization room around the corner, we'd love to have you take a look at that. It's really a first class. It is going to allow us to turn our instruments over much quicker. We can spend more time with patient care. And then we also have a laboratory here that will allow us to do some things in-house and kind of minimize some of the work that we have to send out. So really anxious to be a part of that. I think we're going to provide some very good care for the people that come in here and see what we can do to.
Is it going to be like full service from hygienists to root canals, the whole works?
Pretty much, yeah. There are certain things that are maybe a little more exotic, possibly, you know, with some implants, some other things. We are still sorting out what we can do. Obviously, our primary goal is going to get people stabilized and kind of on the healing slope of things. Then we can also kind of look at other things, but very important for the population will be coming in on that, where they have some dental work that doesn't look so good and they're getting to recovery and then they're gonna be employed. Well, we wanna make them so that they feel good about themselves and so that they look presentable to the public, so.
When your teeth hurt, my
Pardon
goodness.
me?
And when your
Number
teeth hurt,
one
oh,
reason
gosh.
for relapse, dental pain.
Dental pain. Yeah, wow.
You don't see that? Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
So this is Child Watch. It has its own separate entrance. So as patients arrive with their children, they can come to this entrance on this side. Parents will stay on this side and sign their children in and out. There's a maximum 3-hour watch time. If the patient is still inside of the clinic and they have to extend that time due to care, they can come and check in. We see infants, 6 weeks, and then older. And we have a full-time child watch attendant that we have.
We're not a licensed daycare facility, but we do follow all the regulations. So, like you said, 3-hour minimum, or maximum, and then if they need to extend it, they can just re-sign in.
How many children?
Well, they say about 10. Yeah, 10 to 1. Yeah. But if it gets like 10 toddlers, then we'll have more staff in here. For sure. All of us are cross-trained.
And all of us are fingerprinted, background
Gotcha.
checked to the fullest extent to be in compliance and ensure that all of our patients and our children are safe.